Most front-end performance bugs don't come from slow APIs. They come from caching the wrong thing at the wrong layer. This is data handling and UX, where we explain front-end concepts using real production problems, not definitions. And today's topic is client versus server caching. Real problem. Let's start simple. You load a page. It fetches data from an API. To make things faster, you cache the response. Feels correct. Until the data changes. Now users see stale data, or worse, inconsistent data. Two users, same page, different results. That's not a cache problem. That's a caching decision problem. Why caching breaks real apps? Caching fails when we don't ask who owns the data, who updates it, who invalidates it. When caching is done blindly, three things usually happen. First, stale data leaks into the UI. The app looks fast but wrong. Second, cache invalidation becomes impossible. No one knows when to refresh what. Third, bugs appear only in production because real data changes. Caching doesn't reduce complexity. It moves complexity. Client-side caching. Client caching is about UI performance. It reduces duplicate requests, unnecessary refetching, UI flicker. Things like in-memory state, browser cache, query caches. Client caching is great when data is user-specific. Data changes infrequently. Correctness can tolerate short staleness. But client caches cannot guarantee truth. They only know what they last saw. Server-side caching. Server-side caching is about data authority. It controls response consistency, global freshness, system load. Things like CDN caching, reverse proxies, backend cache layers. Server caches work when data is shared across users. Correctness matters. Invalidation rules are clear. Server caches define what is real. Clients only consume it. The big mistake. The most common mistake, caching server-owned data on the client without an invalidation strategy. Developers cache API responses assuming they don't change, until they do. And when they do, UI shows outdated data, users lose trust, bugs become impossible to reproduce. Fast and wrong is worse than slow and correct. The senior decision rule. Here's the rule experienced engineers use. If the data must be correct, cache on the server. If the data is about UI experience, cache on the client. Always ask, who owns this data? Who updates it? Who decides when it's stale? Caching is not a performance trick. It's a data contract. Interview versus production bridge. In interviews, people say caching improves performance. Senior engineers say caching defines correctness boundaries. Real teams care about stale data bugs, cache invalidation, consistency guarantees. If you cache the wrong thing, you don't get speed, you get chaos. What's next? Next topic in this series is optimistic UI updates, how real applications feel fast before the server responds. We'll break down why apps update the UI before an API call finishes, how real production apps handle failures and rollbacks, and why this is a critical UX decision senior engineers make. And if you want, client versus server caching examples, common production mistakes, interview questions from beginner to senior level. Comment questions and I'll share the document.